That's the problem with centrists too. Doing the whole like, oh, compromise is just a part of life. We just all want to be happy together. Why you gotta rock the boat? Is great when you are not oppressed, not marginalized, not suffering from certain issues. It's called privilege. And usually centrists are pretty fucking privileged.
I think that one of the problems we're going to have in any of these topics comes to a lot of the ways that I think a lot of people, not just Katie, but a lot of people on both sides frame these things. This idea that if we give any ground to the other side, quote unquote, that they want what they want. And you heard Katie earlier say this, like, we know what they want. They're not going to stop. They're going to keep going until they get what they want. There will be no compromise. There can be no compromise. They are the enemy, and we have to fight them. I think that is going to frame every conversation, whether it be platforming, whether it be abortion, whether it be vaccines, whether it be any issue we can think of. This mindset that people have, and it's a lot of people, right? It's not just on one side or the other. A lot of people on all sides of the aisle have this mindset that if we give any ground to the other side, that they, as the dishonest actors they are going to run with it. And I think this is why this talk, when I talked earlier about humanization, right? That's why I focus on that, because we have to stop seeing everyone that doesn't agree with us as an enemy to be fought. And we need to see them as a human to be talked to and conversed with. We have to be willing to give something up to get something else. Compromise is a good thing. It's a function. It's a feature, not a bug. And this whole conversation has been frustrating to me to no end, because we cannot seem to. It's this framing of this like this. I don't know. I'm sorry for ranting, but that's
no, it's okay.
No,
all except for Hitler. Okay, I'm going to draw the line at Hitler.
We'll draw the line at Hitler. But no, I mean, I agree with you completely, Wick, and I think that's why you are a centrist, and that's why
we're not a centrist. People keep saying this.
Okay, so you're just a smart person.
Centrist is a team in of itself. Okay, I'm not on a team.
Centrist is a compliment. You're more is like when I say centrist, I'm being very nice.
What do you want to call me?
Stupid,
besides retard,
shallow, and
an enabler, a liberal. I don't know.
Oh, dirty liberal. Oh, so awful. But well, okay. Regardless of labels, no, but I agree exactly what you're saying, Wick. 100%. I do think that is part of what's polarizing everyone, tearing the country apart. And I think it is. I think that attitude only serves the extremists entirely. I don't think it serves us moving forward in any sort of function in this country where we can all get along and keep getting along with each other. So.
Yeah, it gives us a great choice. It gives us no abortion, even in the exception, even in the case of rape and incest, or abortion up to the moment of birth. Yeah, exactly.
Right. It's fascinating that you can continue with that framing, even though you realize that's illegal in most countries.
Those are the two options on the table, though, as a voter right now.
They're not.
6 states.
Yes, they are. The Republicans are offering zero abortion, even in the case of rape and incest, and the progressives are offering abortion on demand up until the minute of conception, or up until the minute of birth.
Do you deny, Kate, that there are? I could find you them right now. I could pull up there. You know who they are.
Those are the two options.
People who use things like "yeetus the fetus," right? They use these phrases that they basically say they don't just say abortion should be safe, legal, and rare. They say I want abortions on demand. They really lean into it in order to try to get. And the thinking is we want to normalize abortion so that people can have just abortions on demand. They do this. This is a rhetoric that happens, and like to act as if it doesn't happen, I think just shows like this either unwillingness to see or just ignorance of. It might be a large voice, but even if it's just a small voice, it's worth pushing back against. There's not a lot of white nationalists out there. They're small. But we push back against it for very good reason, because even though they're a small voice, we want to shut it down, nip it in the bud. An ounce of prevention is worth about a cure.
You've been trying to shut down white nationalism for a long fucking time, and it's on the rise. So clearly the centrists have been doing it not very well, have they? They're
Well,
too
it's
not-
focused on the tiny little whiny voices on the left that are saying things that are mostly illegal. That's the problem with centrists too.
Mhm.
Like,
Not a centrist.
they keep.
It's okay. We are. So tell us.
Go
what's the
ahead.
problem?
Yeah. What's your
It's
beef?
really my beef is that doing the whole like, oh, compromise is just a part of life. We just all want to be happy together. Why you gotta rock the boat?
That was a
It's
great
very-
Bubbles impression, by the way.
Thank you. Is great when you are not oppressed, not marginalized, not suffering from certain issues. It's called privilege. And usually centrists are pretty fucking privileged.
Well,
It's
I'm not
because
privileged in the abortion debate because I have two unreasonable positions to choose from. I don't feel very privileged.
Aw, that must be so scary to you when you get
It is.
pregnant, doesn't it?
Well, I have obviously.
Did you just
females in
assume
my
Adam's
life,
gender?
Yeah. Well, I do. I have, females in my life that I do worry about. Obviously, I'm not just exclusively focused on the male population. So,
That's good to hear.
yeah.
So can
Centrists are privileged.
I need to drill this down. So in most states, it is illegal to do the second option. But you are upset that progressives can't say, in the 7 states that it is legal for whatever reason, we will not stand for it. Stop it immediately.
No, I'm upset that
Is
there's
that what
not
you want?
look, I'm upset that there's not a reasonable option for voters. Like, let's make abortion legal up until a certain point. Like the viability standard, I think, is a reasonable standard.
So I don't know what Joe Biden's position was when he ran in 2020 on abortion. So I don't know that. But if in 2024 rolls around, my guess would be he's going to take a very vague position where he's not going to exactly say whether he's going to give an argument about bodily autonomy for the woman. He's going to say it's a woman's right to choose, and he's not going to specify whether he's in favor of any sort of ban or not. That'd be my guess, right? Because he doesn't want to alienate either side of the conversation. So
yeah, so it genuinely sounds like your gripe is with the American political system more than any of like it's true. Two
Well,
parties
no, my gripe
suck.
is specifically with you for calling me privileged when I can't even have access to a reasonable abortion debate. It's like,
what do you mean
how
can't
is
have
that
access to a
privilege?
reasonable abortion debate?
Look, the framing of the issue right now is either you don't accept, like you're pro-life to the point of rape and incest is just fine, or you're pro-choice to the point where if a woman wants to have a child sacrifice at the 9th month and, is a Satan worshiper, she can do it as long as the baby is inside her womb.
Okay.
Those don't seem like reasonable positions to me.
Okay. And that framing is what, from our conversation? Because that's certainly not
No,
what
that's the
we
framing
talked
I
about.
see just out in the world.
well, it's
out
from
in
the if we
world.
have to accept the ultimate bodily autonomy position, right?
Yes.
Yes. So if I say very early on that there is an unresolved issue in the progressive movements regarding that.
And I was happy. I was happy to hear you say that, Katie. Yes, I do.
Yeah. I'm fine with critiques. I think critiques are good. It's just a lot of the times when centrists whine about the left, they seem to whine about an aesthetic that they don't like. Why do you virtue signal? Why do you gatekeep? Why do you do stuff that I'm annoyed with?
You said earlier on you were in favor of substance, okay? What I am talking about has nothing to do with aesthetic. I'm talking about putting a date on the calendar when abortion is no longer legal. Like, is it 12 weeks? Is it 15 weeks? Is it 24 weeks?
Okay,
that's
so I'm
substance.
asking you.
That's not aesthetic.
I'm asking you. I agree with you. I'm asking you, what do you need progressives to do to further what you want?
Well, I mean, just agree.
Put the date on the calendar.
Put the date on the calendar. Stop whining about bodily autonomy and the woman should be able to have abortions at 9 months. You're the one whining about women's bodily autonomy, not me.
Yes, I do fear for women's bodily autonomy. That is true.
Yeah, I fear for everyone's bodily autonomy. And I feel like a baby at 9 months, there's a good argument to be made that they should be entitled to some kind of bodily autonomy. They're literally in there sucking their thumb.
Yes, but you also compare that to vaccine mandates, so it's hard for me to
Wick
really.
did that. That was the Wick's fault. Like,
I did it
Wow,
too.
way to like
I'll
throw me
take-
under the bus. No,
I'll take some blame.
if it comes down to like bodily autonomy, this is a question. Like as a concept, right? As a conceptual thing, you're right. Progressivism has to decide. Well, I guess progressivism.
what
has
is
to
the
decide.
position going to be that's reasonable, that people will vote for? Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.